Hi, thank you for watching Digging to China. I'm Dong Shang. While I was researching for my next topic, I came across an old article on AMAC's website. It was published November 2019, exactly a year ago. The title is Virginia Goes Blue. Pro-China Communists Claim Credit. Then I also found a similar commentary by Trevor Loudon, a contributor to the Epoch Times. I found the topic intriguing because it relates to this year's presidential election. It relates to Democrats' left turn to socialism and communism. It's worth the time and energy to revisit it. In 2008, Barack Obama became the first Democrat to carry Virginia in a presidential race since Lyndon Johnson in 1964. The state stayed blue in 2012, 16, and 2020. As a result of last year's election, the once deep red Commonwealth of Virginia turned to a blue state. Democrats since then have been holding all three of the statewide constitutional offices, both U.S. Senate seats, the majority of its Congress members, and both chambers of the state house. Some media commentators said it was because of changing demographics. It is partly true. There has been a liberal bleed out from the Washington area to flip not just Northern Virginia, but also districts across the state. Virginia went blue because there are a handful of well-organized pro-CCP communists made it happen. By the way, CCP stands for Chinese Communist Party. New Virginia Majority NVM is such a group. Based in Alexandria and Richmond, NVM has sent hundreds of paid workers and volunteers out across Virginia to register voters. Hundreds of thousands of voters. Last year, NVM endorsed and supported 23 Virginia candidates and won 15 of them, including 2 state senator seats and 9 assembly victories. None of this electoral success was due to luck or demographic alone. NVM co-chair Tran Nguyen published an op-ed in the New York Times saying, Democrats could learn a lot from what happened in Virginia. By going after the minority vote with massive voter registration drives, you can flip almost any state. We try to reach voters of all colors, women, low-income workers, and young people where they are, which has made it possible for us to develop a robust base of support along Virginia's so-called urban crescent from Northern Virginia to Hampton Roads. We registered more than 300,000 votes, helped win significant policy changes like Medicaid expansion, which covered nearly 400,000 people. In this op-ed, Mr. Nguyen also went on to explain the importance of the ex-convict vote. The former governor, Terry McAuliffe, restored the voting rights of more than 173,000 Virginians during his term, more than any other governor in Virginia's history. In 2016, of the nearly 20,000 men and women who registered to vote for the first time as a result of the restoration of their rights, a whopping 79% voted. They were a key voting bloc in Virginia, the only southern state that Hillary Clinton won. NVM worked closely with McAuliffe to win ex-felon voting rights. The organization actually gave the governor an award at its annual dinner for his work. The op-ed continues to read, States don't become battlegrounds overnight. Democrats and national progressive organizations have the resource to take their case to the people and win. But they have to start early and organize relentlessly. When they lose, they have to stay in place and keep fighting for every political inch they can get. No place is unwinnable forever. As you can read from Mr. Nguyen's op-ed, the path to success lies in organizing and energizing minority voters who already lean left, but normally vote at a very low rates. All this would be serious enough if NVM members were well-meaning liberal Democrats who solidify democratic system. Unfortunately, it isn't the case. NVM is a Front for Liberation Road, formerly known as Freedom Road Socialist Organization, FRSO, the United States' most influential Marxist-Maoist organization. Liberation Road adopted a left refoundationist strategy after the fall of the Soviet Union. It called for a new type of political party to unite with advanced sections of the masses, stressing collaboration across the left. It calls for those who already believe in socialism to reach out and engage others in diverse social movements of working and oppressed people. The group regards the conservatives as the new confederacy who advocates white supremacy, cis-heteropatriarchy, and austerity to galvanize the white working class to backwards politics. Liberation Road views the Republican Party as the primary political instrument of the new confederacy. Liberation Road comes out of the American Maoist student movement of the 1970s. These days, it is more discreet about its Chinese Communist Party CCP loyalties. Its leaders and supporters maintain close ties to Beijing. The most notable is Steve McClure. Mr. McClure is a former Washington resident who was active in the pro-Mao Revolutionary Student Brigade. He has close ties to FRSO and NVM. Since 2010, he has worked with the Geography Department of Wuhan University in China, and he is a research associate with the State Key Laboratory of Engineering Information in Surveying, Mapping, and Remote Sensing at Wuhan University. McClure has used his skills in GIS, Geographic Information System, to supply highly targeted voter identification information to New Virginia majority. As far back as 2005, McClure was using GIS technology to identify low-income voters. According to the Mason Gazette, he plotted lower-income, high-rental housing areas to get a picture of where there was affordable housing in Northern Virginia. 2 years later, NVM was established, and McClure's information proved to be very useful. It was designed to help NVM flip districts across the state by micro-targeting potential Democratic voters in low-income and minority communities. McClure wrote in his own post the following, I quote, "In the general elections of 2008, Virginia voted Democratic for the first time since 1964, with Obama carrying the state. Demographic shifts and increased voter participation rather than a shift in political allegiance account for this outcome." Unquote. McClure is still actively engaged in giving advice to his U.S. comrades in winning elections for the Democrats, especially in the South. In an article co-written by McClure and Bob Wynn, McClure said, "South has more electoral votes, battleground state votes, population, and congresspersons than any other region. The South is changing rapidly, giving rise to more progressive demographic groups, especially blacks and Latino migrants, LGBTQs, and urbanites, and a growing Democratic vote." McClure and Wynn argued that to destroy the Republican Party in the South, black communities must be targeted and mobilized to vote. President Donald Trump's victory in 2016 shocked the left, and according to McClure and Wynn, has made their goal of flipping the South even more urgent. Liberation Road has a large presence in Georgia, Tennessee, North Carolina, and Florida. Now that Virginia is safely in the Democrats' column, look to see an upsurge of Maoist electoral activity in Georgia and Florida to turn those states blue. North Carolina and Tennessee will be next, then Texas. President Trump has been tougher on Beijing than has any other president in living memory. It is no secret that Chinese Communist Party doesn't like Trump and would love to see him defeated in 2020. Rather than risk war or suffer huge economic setbacks, wouldn't it be much cheaper and easier to use CCP's American assets such as Liberation Road to ensure Trump's defeat by democratic means? It is inconceivable that the CCP didn't know what McClure was up to. After all, they pay his salary in Wuhan University. It is clear that the Liberation Road is tied to CCP. It is also clear that their front group NVM is heavily involved in U.S. electoral politics and played a decisive role in turning Virginia blue. It's also obvious that the Liberation Road's goal is to destroy President Trump and the Republican Party to pave the way for a socialist America. In order to most efficiently target and mobilize low-propensity but reliably progressive voters, McClure is using sophisticated computer modeling developed with the facilities in China. It's difficult to imagine that CCP is unaware of his activities or his use of state-owned property and possibly state-funded staff to carry out his analysis. Do you see collusion? Thank you for watching. Please leave a comment and subscribe to my channel. Just click the subscribe button right here. I'll see you again shortly.